Hello all, we're here again in my lovely shed. Yeah, beginning to pile up a bit. You can see the trainers have gone behind me. Okay, most of those have been put on or need cleaning up. Yeah, last week's title was, and I'll tell you this, last week's title was Strong Selling Flips for the Summer. This week's title is Summer Season Reselling Flips. Hey, it's that time of year, all right? It's a time of year when people are beginning to update the old wardrobe for the summer season. There's certain times of the year when certain types of clothing do sell strongly. I would say late August, early September, there's a lot of jeans that get sold. And people are sort of like gearing up for like the autumn winter. This certainly at the moment people are beginning to gear up for the summer. Okay, my name's James Smith. I run channel JR74, which is predominantly at the moment an eBay based reselling channel. I am thinking of getting some digital products sorted within the next 6 months or so. So I am going to sort of like feed the digital product aspect into making a side hustle. So I suppose in a way this really is a side hustle channel. People might criticize me for like not having a definite focus to the channel, but if you were to ask me, is it eBay, is it side hustle? Well, eBay is a side hustle, so yeah, it's more side hustle. If you were to actually tie me down, put my head in the block or whatever it is and get me to actually talk to you about what this channel is about, it is side hustle. Anyway, right, let's start to look, shall we, at this. It's In On and Gone, video number 46, where I talk about what is coming into the shop, what is on the shop, and what has gone from the shop. On, easy. Look at the link below. Have a look at the store. Browse to your, pleasure. Okay, make me an offer on anything that you see, because I fully believe that offers are a very strong part of the eBay reselling process. The in I will talk about later on in the video, but we're going to start with the gone, as I always do in these videos. Gone is in two sections. Stuff that's sold within a week, promoted at 2% unless I state otherwise. And also there's some stuff that I talk about that I've sold that has taken longer than a week, but it's still worth you knowing about. This channel is educational. If you want to know about reselling, and if you want to know about what sells, what doesn't sell, that's what this channel's all about. Please click that subscribe, okay? And we'll go places. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Lovely. Right, first up that I'm going to talk about the first two that I'm going to talk about are shorts. As I said, summer season, so the shorts are going to sell. These were a pair of Champion Quarterback Collection large shorts. They were again part of that bundle that I got just before Christmas. This again, it's a good indicator that if you buy out of season and then just hold them, and when the season comes around, it is worth doing. I've made quite a bit on this, and it's certainly something that I'll be looking at doing again. These, as I said, Champion, strong brand, very strong brand, usually sells quite quickly. And I got these for £1.90, sold them for £10.60, £5.47 back, £3.57 profit overall, which is 187% markup on what I paid for them. So well above the 50 to 100 mark that I do target. So yeah, happy with that, really happy. Another pair of shorts coming up. Yeah, those Champion ones, they're still heavy. They are for wearing around the house. Or a bit of basketball, bit of gym work as well. But these ones, the Nike swim shorts, sell very strongly. Nike and Adidas swim shorts. You can easily tell if they're swim shorts by looking in the pocket, and if they've got the sort of like the mesh material, then they are most likely to be swim shorts, so that the old pockets don't float out when you are actually in the water. These were a really nice pair of Nike mint greens, extra large in size. If these were large, I would have had them, definitely. Again, £1.90, because, as I said, I got 50 shorts at 95 quid. So 50 divided by 95 divided by 50, you're coming to about £1.90. Again, same numbers as the other pair of shorts I just told you about. £10.60 sold them for. £5, that includes postage, by the way. £5.47 back, £3.57 profit, 187%. So yeah, two really, really strong selling summer products that will go well at this time of year if your photographs show that they're in good condition and that your description gives all the measurements as well. Okay, you know, and I think both of these, I think the Champion ones had like the number on, they look very American, they look very quarterbacky, okay, and if you like that sort of style, you'll get it. The Nike ones, nice color, great condition. So, you know, that was good. I was pleased with those. There are 6 quick sellers in all. I got 6 this week. Those of you that watch the video regularly will know that I try and get to the 10. Okay, but this week it's just 6. Some weeks I do it, some weeks I don't. 10 is actually quite a high number in terms of quick sellers. But recently I haven't been listing as much as what I could have been. I think at the moment I'm just taking a little bit of stock of everything that I've got, just so that, and I'm working on my death piles. Okay, now that might sound a bit serious, but in the reselling world, a death pile is the stuff that's piling up that you haven't even listed. So yeah, I'm trying to get on top of that at the moment. Anyway, these were a pair of fat face chinos. Okay, yep, nice summery trouser, just a cotton trouser, not denim. Well, I suppose denim is cotton, but it's not the heavy cotton, is it? Fat Face, really, really strong brand to sell. Okay. Any trousers, any jumpers in this brand usually do quite well. And that's because in the shops, they're northwards of 30 quid. All right. And I'm offering them in decent condition at a much lower price. Paid £4 for these. Sold them for £15.60. £9.99 back. £5.99 profit, 149%. Okay, so these 6 products that I'm telling you about are in order of markup. All right, so 149% comes in at third. Pleased with that. Okay, and that's just it is quite the fat face chinos are quite easy to come by in charity shops. They are there. They are there, and some charity shops will price them quite high, but most will just price them as just like a normal pair of trousers. Okay, same sort of level as, say, a Marks and Spencer's pair of trousers. So yeah, all right, pleased with that. Coming in at number 4, another strong sort of like sub-brand of a big brand. The big brand being Nike. These were a pair of Nike Air Force Ones, low cut, okay, size 6, white, and they also had the interchangeable Nike ticks on the side of the shoe as well. They were, I photographed them in black, but I think there was also a black with a bit of a pattern on and a green as well, where you could Velcro them off, the Nike tick off, and then replace it with another one. Goodness me, whatever next. Whatever will they think of next? Air Force Ones are a strong seller. And again, if you like, take a look around you. I've got 2 teenage daughters, and you know, about 2 years ago, I think, you know, their attitude was that if you weren't seen in a pair of these, your feet would drop off. Frustrating. You know, I was like trying to say there are other brands out there, you know, that look just as good. They didn't have to be this one. Nike really did tie up the teenage market with this brand of shoe. They did, in terms of marketing and in terms of sales, they did really, really well. It's beginning to fade off a little bit now, I'm thinking. I would say that the Air Force One lows aren't as popular now as what they were a couple of years ago, but they're still strong. These were, as I said, a pair of interchangeable ticks. They were white, size 6. I picked them up for £7.02. I took an offer of £23.60. Okay, that would be an offer of 20 quid and postage at £3.60. £14.25 back, or £14.26, sorry. I'm going to be precise. £3.57 profit, which is, no, I'm reading the wrong one. 23, right, let's do it again. Sorry, I'd started reading that one out, then I started doing the shorts. £23.60, £14.26 back, £7.24 profit, 103%. So over the 100, happy with that. Some of you might be thinking that Air Force Ones you could sell for a bit more, but I don't get the offers in, and if I did, you're talking about keeping them for about 6 months. I'm not going to do that, and I would only get about an extra £5 for them. It's just not that was a good offer that came in, and a realistic one at that. And I need to be realistic to you guys. Okay, I don't want to be coming across as the sort of channel that says that you have to hold out for top price all the time. It's not realistic. Okay, it's not. You've got to keep that cash flow going. Okay, so you've got to get products. If you make a profit on it, great. It was over 100% that profit. Get them back. Okay, get the money in, reinvest that money into something else. That's how your business will grow. Right, now, I did say that was in order of markup, didn't I? And I made a mistake on this one, because this one is a higher markup than the Air Force Ones. Linen. They sold well. The linen blend trousers. I got my first pair of linen trousers in, and 32 waist, 33 leg. I paid £3.25 for them, £12.60 offered. Okay, took it, £7.13 back. Profit of £3.88, 119% markup. Okay, the linen trousers are selling again, which is really good. All right, really good, because I must have sold over 20 pairs last summer, and that's purely from just going around charity shops, just looking. I didn't deliberately source them on Vinted or anything like that. Maybe that could be something I could be looking at doing this year. But linen trousers, especially the Marks and Spencer's ones, sell really well. So yeah, if you come across a pair of those in a charity shop, male or female, get them, because and especially if they're at that sort of price. I wouldn't go above £4 on a pair of linen trousers. Okay, but yeah, that's good. Pleased. And finally, for the quick sellers, now the trainers. Okay, so that pair of Nikes and this pair as well that I'm going to tell you about, I promote trainers at 10%, not 2%. Because I find that if you promote them at 2%, some of them do take a long time to shift, purely because there's so many pairs of trainers on eBay. I find that if I promote them at 10%, yes, I'm giving eBay a bit more money, but my products are being shoved up the queue a little bit more. People are seeing them. The impressions numbers certainly get higher, and you sell them a bit quicker. So I don't mind paying just that little bit extra to get them shifted a little bit more quickly, because the markups on them are still quite good. These were a pair of Nike, where are we? Nike Free Run 2s. They were in mulberry and indigo, size 7, so decent size, in decent condition as well. Now, these were a pair that when I got them, they had a bit of mud on them. Okay, they weren't rips or tears or anything like that, so they did need a little bit of a clean up. Didn't take that long to clean them up. Okay, but they cleaned up really nicely. I was able to put them on with a decent picture, and they sold quickly within the week. £5.62 I paid for these. Sold them for £17.10, £9.22 back after postage and fees to eBay. £3.60 profit, 64%. So between the 50 and 100. So none of the products this week have been below that 50 to 100. All right, so that's great. Really pleased with that. Overall, the numbers are as such. £23.69 I paid for all of those 6 products. £51.54 back. Profit of £27.85, which gives about £4.50, £4.60. Well, actually, it's £4.64 is the average profit for each of those 6. That's normal. That's a good benchmark for you to work towards. I would say you need to be aiming on products like this. If you are getting £3.50 to £5 markup on each of those, that's roughly, okay, looking at charity shop prices and looking at what you can sell them for on eBay, that's roughly whereabouts you are. Yeah, you'll get some charity shops where you can pick them up much cheaper and make a much bigger markup, but I'm trying to give you a more realistic figure in terms of taking all charity shops into account, and a little bit of vintage flipping as well. Realistic, realism, honesty, to actually show you about what reselling is all about. Okay, right, let's start to talk about stuff now that has taken longer than a week to sell, but I still feel that you need to know about it. Okay, so going into the stuff that's taken longer than a week to sell, okay, which is quite a bit of stuff. I'm not selling stuff in a week. Good God, I'll be king seller if I was doing that. But yeah, t-shirts. Couple of t-shirts that I've sold this week, and t-shirts do sell. Okay, there is a huge market for t-shirts. I've forgotten his name, but there is one bloke who has basically made he's made a lot of money from selling t-shirts. Okay, and he just basically went out and started sourcing them and just specialized in the t-shirts. But it's obvious that he has got an eye for the type of t-shirt that sells well, and this is part of the skill. And it is a skill, because a skill is something that you get better at the more you do. So yeah, the first t-shirt, I'm going to tell you about two t-shirts. The first t-shirt has got a little bit of nostalgia to it, okay, and it's the Nike Tiempo t-shirts, okay, because they don't make them anymore. All right, the Nike Tiempo, it's sort of like the night tick within the upside down triangle. They're not made anymore. So yeah, anything with this sort of branding on in good condition is going to do well. It will sell for you. So it all depends on the price that you've actually sourced it for. This was a nice, just basic white and black one. Okay, the Tiempo one was quite large. I find that when the logos are large, they do take longer to sell. There's quite a few Adidas hoodies with like Adidas, huge Adidas trefoil on the front. They take a long time to shift. They will shift, but if they've just got the more subtle one just there, they all shift quicker. Trust me, they will. This Tiempo t-shirt, where are we? Here we go. £2.35 I paid for it. £10 and 10 pence I took an offer on. Okay, so £5.29 back, £2.94 profit, 125%. So yeah, good. All right, good. And so that is like a t-shirt that you can't get anymore. All right, and people still the sort of like the logos of old. Maybe Nike will bring out the Tiempo brand again in, say, like 5 years' time. Who knows? Who knows? I haven't got a speed dial to Nike's marketing department, but it's one thing that they could maybe do, because Tiempo stuff still has a very, very strong following, especially the sleeveless tops. All right, if you can get one of those sleeveless tops, Tiempo, then yeah, that'll sell well. Next up, t-shirt was more of a brand. This was just a Pepsi, the old style Pepsi Cola sort of like logo. And it was on a Savvy label. And so, yeah, it just had, the t-shirt did have sort of like a retro quality sort of look to it. I managed to pick it up for £1.50. All right. And I sold it for £11.60. So yeah, it's a good flip, this one. £6.57 back, £5.07 profit on that, 338%. So yeah, great. All right, well above my target there. Any sort of like Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola with sort of like an old style 50s look to it, okay, is usually a good seller. And yeah, this one proved to be so. I think both of those teas that I've just told you about, they both sold within 6 months. All right, it took 6 months, but well, it took less than 6 months. But yeah, I think I got them round about Christmas time. So yeah, t-shirts don't take up that much space. So yeah, pleased with that, pleased. Okay, 2 pairs of summer shoes now. First pair, really happy with these. A pair of Hugo Boss Bolton Run white trainers. These actually weighed over a kilo. Normally trainers, when you pack them up, they're between about 600-700 grams. These were a kilo. So, you know, yeah, a bit of a workout wearing them. £5 I paid for them and sold them for £38.60. So this was a really, really good find that I was really happy with. £25.21 back after fees, because I did promote these at 10%. £20.21, okay, profit, 404% markup. So yeah, great, really good, really strong, that one. Okay, really, really pleased with that. However, I'm not just going to tell you about my successes. Okay, there's also the not so good, which I'm about to tell you about now. Adidas. These were a pair of Adidas Kusari Y3 trainers. And I did think to myself when I was doing the sourcing on this, yeah, I'll pay a little bit more. They're in good nick. I'll pay a little bit more because the person on Vinted was actually offering them at a certain price. So I did come to a deal with them because I did it as a bundle. I bought a few other things as well. So I priced these trainers at £26.42. Okay, now the Y3, I've noticed that it's beginning to become a little bit more common in what you are seeing. I did notice, caught a little bit of Bundesliga the other day, okay? And I noticed that Vincent Kompany, the Bayern Munich manager, had a tracky top on with Y3 on it. It's sort of like a new Adidas sort of like type of branding. Maybe it's sort of like a sub brand that they're going into with like a little bit like a more stylish, more luxury. They're certainly charging more money for it. Anyway, these were a pair of Kusari Y3 trainers, £26.42, and I took an offer of £43.60 on them. Okay, so yeah, all right, there's a good markup there. It's over a tenner, but okay, I did promote them at 10%. So when you are promoting at 10% on that sort of price, obviously the fees are going to be more. And I got back, after selling them, £28.64, which is £2.22 profit at 8.4%. So I'm still making a couple of quid on it, okay, but it's even below the £4.64 that I got from my quick sellers. So yeah, they're paying a little bit more for a pair of trainers. Didn't quite come off. I'm thinking to myself now that unless they are absolutely banging, unless they are in huge demand, that stuff like this, 20 quid is about the limit. If it's sort of like the sub brand that they are trying to sell for a higher price, that's where you need to be. So the Hugo Boss shoes that I got, great. They were a really good one. But the Adidas, even though I sold the Adidas for more, I did. It's all about the price that you source it for. And I sourced these for way higher than what I sourced the Boss for. So, yeah, it didn't quite work out. Still made a profit, but not a very big one. And finally, what I'm going to tell you about from the Gone. Again, a little bit of advice about a product and one that doesn't sell very well. Okay, I find they hang around for quite a long time, even if they are of a decent name and decent quality. Okay, men's jackets. We're not talking, when we say jackets, we're talking about the blazer jackets. Okay, sort of like a nice jacket that you could throw on if you're going out for a meal or something like that, or going down the pub with friends. Just something to throw on that looks good. They hang around for ages. They do take a long time. This was a Marks and Spencer one, a nice one, and it was one that I've had a declutter of my wardrobe, and this one is a little bit tight on me. So I thought, I'll sell it. And I sold it in the end for £6.93. So and that was a profit that I made on it. So yeah, something from my wardrobe, £6.93. But I know that it's been in here for quite some time. Not 12 months, okay, but it has taken quite some time to shift. Could be a seasonal thing, you know, people going out for meals, sitting outside, need a jacket to wear. Could be. But just generally, I find that men's jackets do take a long time to shift. So it's not really something that I am that interested in. So a little bit more of a nugget of wisdom passed your way, which is what I want this channel to be all about. Okay, super duper. So what has come into the shop? First thing I'm going to show you, these sell, and these sell quite well. It's an Adidas golf top. You know, and to be honest, if you look there, it's a medium. This is in really good condition. Okay, but just the feel of it, I don't think it's been worn that often at all. So yeah, really pleased with that. Also, look at them, nice pair of ladies Diadora Phantom cycling shoes. They haven't got the cleats on the bottom, okay, but they've got the space for you to put your own cleats into. So that is easily shown by the photo. You can see there's like inside the Velcro, there's a little bit of, I think that's a bit of straw or a bit of grass. Look, it's out already. Little bit of fluff. I've just got like a fork or something just to get all that out before you photograph it. Okay, and I will give this a bit of a sponge over to get, like if you can see there's just a little bit of dirt on the logo here, just a bit of sponge over that just to get it off and just to get it looking really nice. Okay, for the photographs is important, because what you want to do is eBay allows you to really zoom in on the photograph and to crop it. And what you want is your product just taking up that whole photograph. I don't really bother that much with backgrounds, okay, because I think that the buyers want to look at the profit. You see, I don't bother much with backgrounds. You can see behind me, it's not exactly a calming effect, is it? Yeah, so they're a decent cycling shoe. I would put this as like a mid-range cycling shoe. Okay, so yeah, pleased with them. Oh, these were a nice Samuel Windsor. You can see there, a dress shoe. Okay, wedding shoe. Decent brand. Okay, Derby. I think this shoe is like you got like the Oxford style, the Derby style. I think this one is a Derby style. It's also like the mirror shine as well on the leather. Decent pair of shoes, and I picked these up for £2.50. Okay, £2.50. All right, I'll be putting these on for about 25 quid. Probably take an offer of close to 20. So yeah, now hopefully if you're thinking along the same lines as I am, weddings. Okay, wedding season is upon us as well. So a shoe like this for like best man, or even the groom, what size are they? Size 10. So, you know, it's a decent UK size as well. Yeah. What else have we got? Pair of walking shoes. Okay. These sell. I picked these up for a £5. They'll probably go for between £12 and £15. Okay. Pair of trespass walking shoes. These have been worn. These are size 4. I would say with my sister, bless her, is a size 4. Okay. There are some ladies that have got very petite feet. Okay. 4 is the lowest that I would go to with sizing for ladies' shoes. Sizing for men's shoes, probably about 7 to 8. Now, this isn't discriminatory against people with really small feet. It is purely a business decision that the demand is a lot lower for very small shoes. Okay, you don't get as many watches or anything like that. So it's purely business. But as I said, these are a nice pair of trespass waterproof walking boots. These have got worn once for the Duke of Edinburgh expedition written all over them. These just need just a little bit of a wipe down, and they'll be put on and they'll photograph really well. So yeah, that's good as well. Anything else? Oh yeah, I've taken to bits. If we look inside this box, what's in the box? Goodness me, how exciting. I have taken a laptop to bits. Okay, this is something that I do sometimes. Take your laptop to bits if you've got an old one and just sell the bits off. Google Lens and looking at the serial numbers on each and every component will give you exactly what they are, and you can then look on eBay as to how much they're worth. So if you've got an older laptop just lying around, that is worth doing. All right, the screens, the keyboards, even the casing, you know, it sells, and it does sell on eBay. There was a Samsung Chromebook from, oh God, I think it was 2012 that I took to bits, and it was one that my kids used to like teach them about the internet and stuff like that. So it was used quite well, but already that's made me about 60 quid. If I was to sell that, a Chromebook from 2012, if you were to sell that, you wouldn't get more than 30. To be honest with you, you could put it on at a price, but I don't think anybody would buy it. Who wants a Chromebook that's over 10 years old? All right, the operating system's probably obsolete on it anyway, and it won't accept the updates. So really, you really need to know what you're doing with them. And a normal person like myself wouldn't really know how to get one of those to work, or to upgrade one, or to change the processor on it as well. I could do RAM, and I could maybe change like the internal memory, but to actually change the processor, that's beyond my skill set. Okay, but again, something that I could maybe learn. All right, and then buy an old laptop, speed it up a little bit, sell it on. I'm sure there's money in that. All right, it's all about learning new skills and new ways of doing things. Right, me talking about skills and new ways of doing things, I think I'm beginning to run out of content. I'm beginning to waffle, so I've got to stop. All right, I've got to stop. The video that I have in the pipeline for this week is along the lines of spreadsheets. Okay, the sorts of spreadsheets that I use and keep. I did do a video on one about 6 months ago now, where I was talking about how to see if your video, or how to see if your company is growing. And I sort of like, I described the spreadsheets without actually showing them. So this time I'll show them as well. Can't beat a good spreadsheet. Right. Thanks for listening. If you got to this part of the video, well done. Hey. This is Smithy out. All right. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.